God at first said, "Ah, man should have all different languages and should not come together." So he created 70 nations. That's why we're Noahides, right?
That's right.
Yep.
And so we all come from different places. So we all gravitate toward like-minded people, toward our community, toward our nation. And that's what I believe everybody's calling racism. It's truly tribalism, that we're drawn to people like us, with the same mindset, the same everything, right?
Yeah, but you know, the mindset you're talking about is something you inherited from your parents and the grandparents and the great grandparents. We have to get past that. I
Right.
spent,
We have to be more godly about it. We have to be more understanding about it.
well, yeah, I think so. I mean, I spent 31 years in Africa, East Africa, and it's really fascinating getting into the skin of other people and how they think and how they feel about things. No?
I've been all over the world except for Europe. The military didn't see fit to send me there, but when I was after I retired, I went and taught for 3 years in Saudi Arabia. I
Oh
was
my
there
goodness.
in 2001 and 2002, 2000, 2001, 2002, when the towers fell. So I was
And
there
how
during
was
all of that time as a civilian teaching. And basically, you sell yourself into bondage there. You give
Correct.
them your passport when you go in, and they keep it, and they tell you when you can come and go, and when you can quit and when you can leave. They paid good money though back then.
what were you
But
teaching?
I was teaching aircraft maintenance for
Oh,
Boeing. I worked for Boeing and went over to teach the Saudis how to fix their own aircraft, which uh,
No,
sorry.
it
Yeah.
was a task.
no.
And if you're British and if you're French, you know that we send a lot of people over there to do the work for
I
Mm.
spent 31 years teaching Omanis how to run communication systems
Who were you teaching?
in the army. And
In the army.
my wife spent 16 years showing Omanis how to nurse in a military hospital.
them. And you have to teach
Wow.
them in the English because in the Arabic, there are no technical words where you can express what we speak in their
Correct.
language.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent more time teaching English
Mm.
than teaching aircraft maintenance for the most part.
The medium of instruction
Ah,
is English, yes.
Rabbi
Yes.
Goldberg is here.
But
Good evening,
Shalom,
everybody.
Rabbi.
Good evening. No, it was a nice conversation. I really liked it. And Tony, good to see you also. I didn't saw you last week. I'm sorry, I missed you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening,
Good
Evening.
Israel.
Good
Good
evening,
evening.
Rabbi.
Good to see my parents also inside here.
Yes.
I saw a few people here today, so it's good to see you. Welcome, Linda, even though she doesn't really know how to speak English because she's speaking in a London variation of English. But it's okay.
We'll accept you.
I speak English like Angela.
Fair enough, fair enough. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
So let's start to learn from the Bible. We are continuing on with our journey. We came to chapter number 4, and with what I remember last week, you had a lot of questions
Yes.
about the way that I'm viewing the situation between Cain and Abel.
Exactly.
So there is one thing I must say before we will start to learn Genesis in Cain and Abel, because we need to accomplish what we started. Therefore, if it's okay with all of you, I'm going to share the screen, and we are going to start. No, sorry.
Oh.
Not this one. We're going to start with a part of the book of Brit Shalom. Okay? No, again, it's not the right one. I'm sorry. I prepared everything this time. So I'll read it. I prepared everything. So it's supposed to be fast this time. The Brit Shalom book. Okay? The book that you can find it on the internet. Okay? This is the book in the internet. Brit Shalom. The text, because we are preparing also something with much more explanation. And you can also find it as a book, hard book. By the way, we can find it today in Spanish, English, Russian, Hebrew, soon in Czech, also in French and Chinese and Telugu. What else? Portuguese soon also. But today we have it in English also, so all of you can read it in English. So you can find it online in English here, and you can find it also as a hard book. I will give you the links soon. And it's one of the things that we see here is how we triangle, I will say, all the laws of the Noahide laws. Not only we expanded them, but we also showed the positive way how to look on those laws. Okay? Positive way. When I'm saying positive way, for example, we are not saying that it's forbidden to kill someone, because everybody knows that. But we're speaking about the preservation of human life, okay? This is the prohibition of bloodshed. So I'm linking on this link, and now let's see for a moment this chapter. And it starts with one of the, I'll say the mitzvot, okay? One of the things that God is saying. We are quoting from Genesis 9. Genesis 9 is, we didn't get to Genesis 9 yet, but it was something that was told to Noah when he went out from the ark. Whoever spills the blood of human being to a human being, his own blood shall be spilled. For the image of God, he made the human being. So it's clear that Noah got the prohibition not to kill anyone. And then also in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not murder. But let me ask you a question. Don't jump, okay? But the truth is that Cain never got, not Cain, not Adam, we never saw so clear that they got this prohibition, but they got it also, okay? Let's be clear enough, they got also this prohibition. And we started here, Rabbi Shaki started here this book with a quote of Rabbi Akiva, who said, the human being is precise since he is created in the image of God, and it's being written down through this verse. And also Rabbi Akiva said, and you should love your fellow as yourself. This is a great Torah principle. And another very important thing, and this is number 3, the life of human being was given by God, and no one has the authority to nullify it. Therefore, whoever takes someone else's life or his own violates a commandment of the Creator. The punishment of murder is execution by the Jewish court. So this is something I want us to be clear, because people started to ask me and send me messages through the YouTube, through other things, that I'm permitting Cain to kill Abel. No, I never said that Cain didn't do any sin. I never said it. I said that Cain did a sin. He killed his brother. It's awful sin, okay? Something very bad. It's something that logically it's not good to do. I'm not saying logically, not to worship idolatry is something that you can say for yourself, yes or not. But to kill someone, logically, it's something that it's not good. It's something that will harm the situation in this world. And God said already to Adam and Eve not to kill, and also to Noah. And of course, it's a sin to kill someone. So no one can learn from last lesson that I said that Cain was okay, that he killed his brother. No, I said something else. It's very important to understand that. I asked, let's look, for example, on the circumstances, what God punished both of them. And through the punishment, we will see who did a bigger sin. And I said, one got punishment of an exile, Cain. The other one, his punishment was that he was dead. So what punishment is more hard? The punishment of the one who got dead, okay, who got killed. Therefore, we need to understand what's happening here, that we're saying that each one of them did a very hard sin, but the most hardest sin is what Abel did, not what Cain did. And we're trying to understand that. So first of all, I wanted to put everything in the right context. Second thing, so this is something that you can all learn, you can all see. It's a very simple laws, but by the way, we got a lot of questions from the Brazilian people, because some of the nurses there, okay, I now know that Angela from England is also a nurse. Very nice, very important. But some nurses in Brazil got a order, okay, from their bosses, I don't know who, to discharge some of the people who are injured with COVID-19 and to connect it to other people, because those are very old, 80 years old or 75 or 85 years old, and the others are very young people. And they asked us if they have a permission, if they won't do this connection and to connect it to other places, they will be fired from their work. And we got questions, are they allowed to do that as Noahide? Because it's like killing someone. It's taking out, from the machine and putting the machines to others. And we know that they will get, they will die. Now, the answer for that is very complicated. And I'm asking if someone is getting, facing some sort of a problem, not to learn from what I'm saying here or the answer that we gave here, because to ask us the exact situation. Specifically to those people, we said that they are allowed to do this thing. And it's a bit complicated why we did it and how we explained this. And again, I'm saying, don't understand that this is the rule that you need to say to everybody. If you have a question about, a debate about something like that, ask us, okay? Ask the rabbis, we will sit down, we will figure out, and we asked a lot of rabbis what exactly to do here with this question. But the prohibition of killing someone is a very hard one, and it's a very known one, and it's not that Cain was, so I will say, didn't do anything. But I want to learn here again, a bit more, one more step inside to understand the exact situation between Cain and Abel, and also to understand exactly what Cain was accused here and why God went with him in this way. So for that, I will jump for Genesis number 4. Okay, as we know, Genesis number 4, those are the verses that we spoke last week. And we all know, we saw last week. And this is also something that people told me, how can I say about someone that God took, God was so pleased with his offering, okay, fattest. God was very pleased with the offering of Abel. And how can I say that Abel was a bigger sinner than Cain? So what happened there in the offering, God was pleased with Abel because Abel brought to him the firstborn. And Cain didn't brought the firstborn. And we said last week, Abel understood, okay, he was being born as the second one. So he knows that there is always a bigger one than him. Therefore, on the same logic, he is saying there is also a bigger one than the bigger one. This is God. So the first one is for God. Abel, who was born as the first one, and we said that he was some sort of a Messiah for his parents. Cain, he said, the first one is for me, I'm the first one, and I will bring God to the secondary things. Therefore, God told him, and this is what God is saying in verse number 7. Is it not so that if you improve, it will be forgiven for you? You can improve yourself. You can bring me the first one. And the meaning of this is that if you will bring the first one, you will be even better than Abel, sorry. If you do not improve, however, at the entrance, sin is lying. At the entrance of Gehenna, sin is lying. And to you is its longing, but you can rule over it. one of the main things that God is teaching here, that we have a free will and we can decide if we are ruling it or not. If we are managing to overrule what we were born with and to behave better, okay, and to change the bad things that we had, or the bad habits that we took upon ourselves, or the bad habits or the bad things that we were born with, and we can rule it and we can change it. So God is speaking with Cain. And then we have this verse that Cain spoke with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Now, please listen good. What is not written down in verse number 8? Please answer me. What is not written down in verse number 8?
But Rabbi, would that be that how he was killed and why exactly? Because there is no report of any dialogue between the two.
So first of all, the second thing that he said is exact thing, okay? It's not saying anywhere about what they were arguing. Second thing is, you said that we don't know how he killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is something very, very clear that is missing here. It's not saying that he killed him. The word killing in Hebrew, okay, have a very bad connotation and very bad understanding. Here it said something a bit, slow him. Slow, it's also something that we're doing for animals when we're bringing them as a sacrifice for God. We're slowing the animals. The word slow is showing that something here is a bit, I will say, unclear what exactly happened there, okay? Let's go to verse number 9. And the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel, your brother? Now we know that God knows already, and he's only trying to go into a nice conversation with Cain, okay? And Cain said, I don't know. I am a brother keeper. Wow, this is amazing. The question that he's answered. But let me ask you, when he's saying, I am my brother's keeper, so who was supposed to keep my brother alive?
God was supposed to keep him alive.
Who?
God himself.
God. I was supposed to keep him alive. You were supposed to keep him alive. If you didn't want me to slow him, you were supposed to stop him. I will show you an example. We all know this example, okay? Let's go to King book, okay? King 1, chapter 13. That there was someone who came, and man of God, one of the Messiah of the prophets, came from Judah, okay? And he saw Jeroboam, okay, was standing on the altar offering sacrifices, but it was the altar that was forbidden to build. And he said that this altar is giving a very, very hard prophet here, okay, that this altar will be split to two, and that Rehoboam, okay, Jeroboam, is going to be killed, and because the people from Judah are going to kill him. And what's happening in verse number 4? And it was, when the king heard the words of the man of God, which he proclaimed concerning the altar in Bethel, that Jeroboam stretched out his hand, okay, from over the altar saying, strike him. And what happened to his hand? And his hand that he had stretched out against him became stiff. And he could not draw his hand back to himself. So when God wants to save someone, he knows exactly how to save him. This is exactly what Cain is saying to God. He's saying to him, never mind why I killed him. Please listen good, God. You also wanted him to die. Because if not, you would have supposed to do for me exactly what you did here to Rehoboam. Okay? And then also, by the way, in verse number 6, the king is asking from the man of God, please pray for God for me that everything will come back, and his hand is coming back. And this is what Cain is saying to God. You also wanted Abel to be died, to die. This is why you didn't stop me. I wasn't supposed to keep him. You were supposed to keep him. And you said that because he failed with what he failed, his punishment was to get killed. And you didn't stop it. Now, the most amazing thing in this story is what God is answering Cain, okay? He is not saying to him he is wrong. Listen good, look good exactly what's happening here. In verse number 10, he is not saying to him that he was wrong, or he's not saying to him that his answer is not good. He's not saying to him that he's saying to him something else. He's saying to him, and he said, God, what have you done? Hark, your brother's blood cries out to me from the earth. How did you do this? But the thing that he's answering him, he said to him, maybe it's right that I wanted him to be killed. But you didn't do this because I asked you to do that. You did it also because you wanted him to be killed. You have some sort of an inside desire that you wanted him to be killed. Therefore, you are cursed even more than the ground, okay? Which opened the mouth to swallow this blood. And when Cain is saying to God, in verse number 13, is my iniquity too great to bear? So God is saying to him, let's wait and see exactly. He's giving him some sort of a signature on his
forehead.
Some sort of score that yes, and he's giving him 7 generations to improve that he is not a destiny of killers. And what's happening in the 7th generation, where we find that Cain is not a good person, okay? His destiny is taking out, but we will learn this soon. I wanted to show a bit more an insight, okay, about this situation. Till now, if anyone have questions, this is the time. If not, I will continue. Do you want to do a break with the questions?
When Rabbi Goldberg.
Yes, who is it?
So you said
Great.
that
we can't see you.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So it's, hold on, let me click this on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so when you said that Cain was saying to God that you also wanted him dead, is this in likened to Ain't Old Milvaldo, like there's nothing but God?
Yes, I said it last week. I explained this last week, that we need to do a definition between the results that we know that God want those results and who did those actions.
Exactly.
God said to us not to behave badly. Therefore, he is asking us, I will say it like that, to behave in the right way and not to behave in a wrong way, not to help the bad things in this world. On the other side, when something is happening, the results, you can't say that God didn't want this result. This is what he wanted. Like you're saying, Enod Milvado, he is the Almighty here. So those are the results. Now, God have a lot of ways how to, let's say, for example, to kill Abel, okay? He could have bring to him a snake, could have bring to him, a wave of water like we have from time to time. Could have bring to him he have a lot of messengers that will do his job.
Exactly.
Here, because Cain did this dirty job, and Cain also had some sort of I will say, self-insight. Now, he didn't do this
Right.
in a pure way because God asked him to do it. He did it also with some sort of self-insight. This is why God is also punishing him, and he's giving him a space of time, 7 generations, to see if he is a bad person or a good person. At the end, we will see that he is a bad person, okay? Even though one of his destinies, children, Naamah, will be the wife of Noah, and Noah from the destiny of Seth, and Naamah from the destiny of Cain, together will build up the world that we have today. Okay, the sons of Noah. We all sons of Noah. But God, this is what Cain is saying to him. Cain is saying to God, you also wanted him to be dead. And God is not saying, no, I didn't. Okay. God said, of course, he was supposed to be out from this world. Why? Let's look at this again, and I'm sharing again.
Wait a minute, can
One
I
more
just say,
question? Yes, Mama Jean.
instead of all this conversation backwards and forwards, if the punishment for murder is death, why is he not killed, this Cain?
Why
all this
God didn't
chat
kill
backwards
Cain?
and forwards? Yes, we say the punishment for killing somebody for murder is death.
Or exile. If it's not,
Or exile, okay.
if it's not on purpose, it's an exile.
But this was on purpose, or do we not know if it was on purpose?
First of all, we're not 100% sure, one
Yes.
side. And the second thing is that we don't know still yet how to judge Cain. Okay, I'm not finishing the chapter yet because I want to finalize another very important thing in this story. Okay, we don't know yet to judge Cain. We are in a situation where God is saying to Cain, I don't know 100% how to judge you. Let's look on the history of your children's and to see, or about your history, and to see exactly if we need to judge you that you did this thing as a messenger of mine, God, or you did this thing because you wanted him to get killed. And therefore he's giving him an exile because it's something that it's unclear yet. We don't know 100% where to put Cain with this, okay? At this point of time. At the end, he's going to get killed, okay? But this is, give this a time yet, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So let's continue on. I want to, what are the profound reasons for fights between people in our world? So let's continue on. We will see this now. I prepared a few slides, and this is what we saw. And Cain spoke to Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. And we saw already that we don't really know what was the reasons why they had this argument, what exactly the argument was about, okay? And we don't know. Second thing is, I'm asking, you can see here who was stronger? It's a tricky question. And this verse, who was stronger, Cain or Abel?
Well, since Abel is dead, I guess Cain was stronger.
No, Abel was stronger.
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave this open.
Yes, plus.
Let's leave this open, okay, this time. And the main question that we have, can we avoid such things? This is why we need to learn this. And another question that we have, how can we avoid such things? And not only how can we avoid, but how can we avoid? And for that, we need to learn a bit things that we spoke about. After his offering was rejected despite his efforts to appease God, Cain felt frustrated, anger, and very jealousy. Three things. We need to understand the feelings that Cain felt. Abel became an unendurable burden for Cain. And we spoke already last week that from the beginning, Cain didn't understand why he needed another thing here. This is why he called him Abel. Abel is useless. We don't need him here. Okay? But now, after God is accepting the offers, okay, the offering of Abel, and he's not accepting the offering of Cain, so Cain here is very frustrated, he's very angry, all of those things. And this is where that Cain is trying to speak with Abel. He's trying to speak, and Cain spoke, okay? And when I asked who is stronger, So we're saying, in the normal way, when we're reading this verse, we're saying because Abel was dead, so most probably Abel was much weaker than Cain. But when we read this verse carefully, we see that the situation here is a bit different. So let's see. It says that Cain rose up against Abel. Why he was supposed to rise up? Where he was, so he was rising up. So our sages are saying that the real story, what happened here, Abel was much, much stronger than Cain. And when they started to fight, there was a situation very fast that Abel was on top and Cain was below. And Abel wanted to kill him because, the one who wants to kill you, you need to kill him first.
First, yeah.
Yeah. And then Cain asked Abel, what will you say to Adam and Eve, our parents? What will you say to them? That you killed me? Now, what really happened is that Abel, let's not forget, his mission is to educate his brother. At this point of time, he felt or he thought that Cain is accepting the same moral level that he is inside already. He said to himself, if Cain is asking me this question, most probably he won't kill me anymore, because what will he say to our parents? So Cain moved aside. Abel moved aside. And Cain, what Cain did, he rose up and he killed him. So who, I will say, misunderstood everything that is related to his mission? Abel.
Oh.
Again, we're moving again to the same situation. Abel was stronger. Abel thought that they're in the same level of morality, and he failed.
Right.
And this is exactly what Cain is saying to God. You didn't want him anymore in this world. How do I know? You never spoke with him, and you never stopped me from killing him.
Avot, I think, Avot and Perkei Avot, it says, who is strong? He who can control his inclination.
Exactly. And this is what Cain was sure that this is what Abel was sure that Cain already is there. And when he moved from him, he noticed that he is not on this level, but he failed with his mission. His mission was to educate Cain to some certain level. So, and it's very, as we said already, and this is what is very bothering all of you. Okay, I'm trying to be exact. That it's very upsetting thought, I will say, that the murderer remains alive and the victim died. This is something that is really upsetting us. And this is what all of you were against me last week, because you said, we can't accept this way of thinking. And another question is, it is puzzling to think that God speaks with Cain and does not exchange even one word with Abel, as we spoke about this last week also. And another thing that we say, so we learned this verse a few minutes ago, that you can, this is a verse that we did learn. Therefore, whoever kills Cain, Venajays, will be wrote upon his sevenfold, and the Lord placed a mark on Cain that no one who find him slow him. So we see that God is also protecting Cain. Amazing to think about this, that God is protecting Cain. And it doesn't say that he killed him, but only he slowed him. And to Cain's credit is that the claim that Abel, the shepherd and educator, failed in his position, therefore his killing is justified. This is what we are saying all the time. So this is, now you see it in a complete, I will say, version, what we started last week. And again, I'm not saying that Cain was excellent, okay? I'm saying that Cain here is something that we need to understand what's happening, And we will fulfill this, we will finish this story only in the next time. But there is something else that we need to speak here, is what exactly was the reasons of the fights, okay? And when we say Cain spoke to Abel, Rashi is saying that he entered with him into words, okay, of quarrel and contention to find a pretext to kill him, okay? And there are Aggadic interpretations, but this is the plain meaning of the verse, that he started to speak with him to kill him. So let's see for a moment what exactly the Aggadic saying. The Aggadic is saying 3 reasons why he killed him, or what was the discussion of that brought the situation that he killed him. The first one is that they were arguing, let's divide the world. One will take the land, one will take the movable. One will take the land, one will take the movable. And what is the next stage? That Cain took the land, as we know, and Abel took the movable. And then Cain asked him to go on the air because the land is his. And Abel answered him, okay, so be naked because everything that is clothing, everything movable is mine. And they went to fight. Second explanation that we have, each one of them said, in my field, we needed to build the temple. Okay? Each one of them said, I want to be in the most highest level of connection with God. And the third explanation that we have, a bit more complicated. I don't know if you ever thought about this, but with Abel and with Cain, there was also a woman twin. Okay, you can't go on with the world only with Cain and Abel. We need also to have a woman. So each one of them had also a woman, a twin woman that came out with them, which each one of them. But with Abel, the second one, there is another twin. So they went out 3, Abel and 2 woman twins. And the fight was who will get the second twin of the woman, the second woman who is there, okay? Another woman was born with Abel, okay? And Cain claimed she's belonged to him because he was the eldest. And Abel claimed she's belonged to him because she was born with him. And what we see here, that our sages are not just telling us stories. They looked on the history of the world and they said to themselves that there are 3 main reasons why we have wars in our world. And those reasons are very simple. One of them is the economical problem. And when people feel that they don't have enough space for themselves, they want to conquer more place.
Right.
Because they need more food. They need more space. There are more people. The second thing that people are fighting in this world, and you can find it a lot with how do you call him? Lion King, not Lion King, Richard Lion King, okay? And the Arabic situation where they fought it for a long time about Jerusalem, that there was nothing here in Jerusalem. Jerusalem was a very small town. I'm speaking about 2,000 years ago. Nothing here was in Jerusalem. There's also nothing in Jerusalem, like I will say a river or something like that. Nothing in Jerusalem, but there's a lot of fights because of the geopolitical problems and the religious sphere. Okay, look today about the Arabic, Islamic, I will say, the hard Islamic people who have all this ISIS, what we call, who are doing all sorts of very hard problems in this world because of the religious sphere. And the third reason why people are fighting is because of the sexual problem, okay? All the situation with the woman and everything else. And those are the things, those are the main hardcore that bringing people to kill one each other. And
yes.
I will say it in a different way. If we will solve the moral problems, we will manage to solve the killing one each other. And I'm saying this, I know that this being broadcast on the air, on YouTube also, and usually more and more people are looking at this in the week, but I will give this example. do we have enough food today that no one will die with hunger? The answer is yes. We have in our world enough food today that no one will die in hunger. Go in Europe, go in the United States, go in almost in a lot of places in this world, you will see the supermarkets are full with food. More than that, one of the people told me that he was in charge on distributing food in Europe, and every month they were supposed to spill down some of the fast foods that they didn't manage to that people will buy from them. Okay, instead of spreading this to people who are hunger. And we have today 60 million people, approximately, that are dying from hunger every year. Why? Because a lot of people instead, not people, okay, countries, instead of putting the effort of spreading the food around the world, are trying to build up missiles. This is exactly the moral problem that we have. This is exactly the moral problem that we have. Instead of that, and I won't put names, okay? Instead of that, let's try all of us to sit down together in the G7 or in the G11 or in the G20, I don't care how do you call it, and to find the way how to spread over all the leftovers food. You know what? Only the leftovers food to all those who don't have food, enough food. Instead of sitting down and fighting that I will build another atomic missile that can kill all the world, or you will build another one, or I will build only 2 and you will build only 3.
Okay.
Let's start, to discuss in the right way. Okay, Mama Jean, in a moment I will give you time to speak.
Okay.
Okay. And we all know how this story continues. So I'm closing the share, and I think that I spoke enough for tonight. And I'm here now to all of your questions and everything else that you want to say. I'm listening. Okay.
Can I speak? Okay.
Yes. Now it's your time.
Let me say this to you. Don't talk about the G7 and politicians, because unless you have some kind of spiritual renewal in this world, nothing is going to change. And the way food is distributed, even here in Britain, which is supposed to be a very rich country, we have people relying on food banks. So this is ridiculous. How can this be? And it's the same thing in America. And don't let's talk about the third world, because politicians will use food as a political weapon against people, to get their vote in the UN or what. So we need a complete change, a complete reboot of the whole system, because none of this is working. It doesn't work. And food, when I came back to Europe, food is suddenly an industry. We have so much food, and most of it is something you don't want to eat because it's full of chemicals. The supermarkets here are like temples to, I don't know what, to Baal, temples to Baal. That's what they are here. And most of it is just, you don't need this stuff. But the G7, they're not going to solve anything. The politicians are not solving anything. Because this world is just run by people.
First of all, I agree with you. What I'm saying, we need to do a change. Exactly how the change is going to be done, I think that this group, not only this group, okay, the Noahide World Center, I'm not thinking, by the way, that we are the only one, but there are people who are trying to say or to scream out and loud that there's supposed to be a change. I think that this group, for example, is one of the ways of doing those changes. Is it that it's going to happen in one day? I don't know. It is something that we can start to do this also from the downwards, okay? If you will have enough people in England, for example, if you will have enough people in England that will become a community that will send a letter to the Hebrew government, to the Jewish government, to the Israeli government, and we'll tell them, stop with all of the crap. One of the things that you can say is that it's the time that we will do world peace, okay, in this world. So the Israeli government will say to themselves, okay, and they will start to do it with that, because they're starting to see that it's also something, by the way, it's something that they told us, okay? They told us, if we will see that more and more people from the world are asking us to do those things, we will move, we will push those things. And we know how much the Hebrew people have, I will say, influence about a lot of things. And the world is listening to them. So today it's very easy to be with the lie, okay? Like the Hebrew people are occupying in Judah and Samaria, even though you are more than invited to come to those places and to see that the Arabs in Judah and Samaria are asking us, the Hebrew people, to take a responsibility on them because they have no a future with their people. But those are all sorts of things that are interfering. We need to find the way that to knock on the doors of the also of the politicians. I can tell you here, okay, it's a secret. Nobody hears that except for, on the internet. One of the Noahide people in one of the countries today is going to be he's going to be elected to as a politician in Europe, and but he is very, very connected to us, and he's not going to he's going to push those ideas, okay, in his parliament. So we need to pray that it will happen, but he is in a very good state. On the list, he's very high on the list, and he's most probably will be, in the parliament in one of the countries in Europe. It's not enough. It's not enough. But this is how we're doing to do. How do you call it? A rebellion. You need to have only, few people with a bit of a crazy mindset, and we will manage to do a rebellion all over the world. So we are starting. We are starting.
Right.
Rabbi, sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes.
So what I was thinking was when Abel brought the first choice of his flock, I'm understanding that it was the firstborn, the most precious gift. Just by doing that, he was educating his brother. He was saying, this is the kind of care you have to show when you're doing something for God. That's what my understanding. And then when Cain went back and said, am I my brother's keeper? At that point, it's understood that this guy has a bad attitude. He doesn't care. He doesn't care for human life. He doesn't care for brotherhood. He doesn't care that Abel is God's another creature. So on 3 accounts, he already proved that he doesn't care. So I don't know how Abel's punishment was so much worse than Cain's. It's almost like bad behavior got awarded. I am not able to resolve this in my mind.
I will say it like that. If you will explain the things in the way that you explain them, you will stay with a lot of questions, and you will think that God is an unfair God. Now, what we know, that God is one of the most not only fair, but is really giving chance to everybody. Therefore, I explained those things in the way that the Hebrew people are reading it, okay? To educate someone is not only by showing him something, but it's also with discussing him with him. And we never saw that Abel discussed anything with Cain. And the second thing is that when Cain is asking or saying, do I need to keep my brother? He's not saying, I don't care about anybody. He's saying, he's blaming God in a very interesting way. He's saying to God, you were supposed to save him like you did, in the Rechavam story, that he pointed on the prophet and straight ahead his hand was sticked. And on the same level, you were supposed to stop me. And if you didn't stop me, so you also wanted that this will happen. Now, it's not that Cain was innocent. This is why I started. To kill someone is not an innocent thing. And this is what God is also saying to him. This is what we will learn next time. God is also saying to him, let's give the time to see how much you are pure. And you did it only because I wanted this to become, God is saying, or you did it because you also had some sort of an insight in this story, okay? And God is showing him later on that his destiny, the people that came out from Cain, and we need to learn this, are also killers. Therefore, you also had this in your mindset. Therefore, he got killed at the end, Cain, by one of his destinies, okay? But at this point of time, and this is why we're not learning this together, that God is listening to what Cain have to say, and he's saying to Cain, okay, you have a good claim, and we need to test it. Therefore, we will give you this a time. And if you want to explain this in this way, you are getting a God that you have only questions about him, and you think that he is behaving in a very wrong way because he punished the righteoushood, and he is giving, the person who is very bad, he's giving him more and more chance. And for me, it's very hard to explain in such a way. Usually, when we were in the kindergarten and they told us the story, this is how they explained that. But today, as a person who is 40, 50, 60 years old, I must go to another level of this story and to live in a way that I'm feeling good also with the way that God is working. We can't stay only in the level of the story in the way that we are reading it. We must go a bit deeper inside, because the way that you're showing this story, I have a lot of questions against God. I can't live with this. I can't go to sleep with this like that.
Yeah.
For me, God like that, I don't want any connection with a God like that.
Right.
I don't want.
Right.
You with me? And it's very important, because the way that we imagine God, this is also the way that we will behave morally in this world.
Okay.
And this is also why we can find suddenly, okay, that the German people, speaking of 70 years ago, the German people have no problem to have normal life in the afternoon, and in the morning to kill millions of people, because the God that they understand is a God that it's not a problem to behave like that. I can't live like that. For me, if this is God in the level that you're showing, in the way that you're showing the story, thank you very much. I want to be separated from this God. This is why I'm trying to show in a profound way.
Deeper level.
Exactly. What is the connection that we have with the God and how we see this behavior of God.
Okay, thank you.
Rabbi,
Yes.
I just get a reflection of what you said about responsibility.
You can take it on your head, Travis. Yes, Anna.
Now, I just got a reflection in my head about what you said last week about responsibility. It probably may answer the question of Lara that, for example, we as a parents, we have a responsibility to teach our children the right way. And if something happens along the way that we probably didn't do our best to teach our children and something happened to them, normally we blame ourselves and we say, oh, we didn't do the right thing to our children. It's our fault that it happens that way. Probably it's the same with Abel, that he didn't do his job and something happened between the two of them. And it's a big responsibility. So I was thinking, if we parents didn't do our job as we supposed to, I wonder what kind of punishment we will get in the end.
First of all, I'm not God. I'm not God, so it's very hard for me to answer. And most probably I'm also doing mistakes with my kids from time to time, like everybody else, like all of us. And we need, I will say something very important also, because especially that, you know, the end of this week is Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year. And tonight we're starting the first day of the creation. Okay, tonight. Now, Monday is the first day of creation, and Rosh Hashanah is the seventh day. And in Rosh Hashanah, one of the things that we know that we can do repeatness, and it's a real one that you can do it. And this is basically what God is also saying to Cain. He's saying to him, it's all depend on you, and you can do repeatness. And God is giving him the opportunity to do repeatness. And this is something that we can do. And if you believe really on repeatness, that you can, at the end of the days, okay, I will say, when you really do repeatness, to throw your circumstance, the bad circumstance, to God, that He will deal with it, and you are changing your way of life to a better one, so God will accept this repeatness, and He will forgive you. Also with Cain, what happened? He's giving him 7 generations to show that he really did repeatness, that he is not a murderer. Now he failed Cain at the end, and there is a reason. We will learn that. But God is giving him the opportunity. By the way, He didn't give Cain. But this is also because of something He didn't give Abel. But this is also connected to something that Abel did, why he missed it all, you know, everything there. And God said, this is not the way of working, therefore I need someone else. And He brought Sheth to this world. Okay, this is in the next chapter, something that we know.
Rabbi.
So I'm saying just a moment, Ray. So I'm saying the repeatness is very important, especially in those days. Ray, before you ask him something, Travis wanted to ask before. Yes, Travis.
Thank you, Rabbi. For me, I'm just going to allude back to what I was saying last week about Abel and tie this in maybe to the elites in the world. And
if you can raise up your volume, because I'm...
Oh, okay. How about now?
Okay.
Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to allude back to what I was saying last week about Abel being the teacher and not completing his will. What he done is he hurt Cain's self-esteem by allowing him to be looked down upon. He looked down upon him because he didn't give him the information he needed to be equal to him. So what he done was he hurt his soul. He harmed his self-esteem, his soul, his confidence, which that brings in all of the 3 things that caused the aggression, the agitation, and everything, in my opinion. Today, what we have in the world food, yes, we have plenty, but it's the elites in the world looking down on everybody else, in my opinion, that they're hoarding the food for that time when there is a famine. And so they keep the lower rungs at bay by giving just enough to sustain, while the elites are preparing for that time when they will be able to give food to the people they want. They will be able to keep the scholars and the high politicians and the people, rich people in the world governing over us. And that's what we see throughout time with when you look into the history of Rome and Britain. They always hoarded food for the elites and let the masses get hungry from time to time. And that's a sort of a self-esteem problem. It goes back to the fight of Abel not completing his mission, which was to elevate Cain to the same knowledge level so that they could go in with God and understand that first fruits, bikurim, that's what you bring to God. Cain brought the best of his product, but was it the first of his product? We didn't talk about that. And was that the problem? Whereas Abel, he brought the firstborn, the first to break the womb. And so that was the command when it was finally given, bikurim, first fruits, both of the field and of the flesh, go to God. So that's the way I see where he might have went wrong. And Cain, by living, was that a worse punishment? More pain than Abel? Did he wind up, because Abel went back to the Father, he went back to heaven. Was that worse punishment than Cain staying for 7 generations before he was put to death?
I will go with the last sentence that you said. we have, and I showed it also last time from the end of the Bible. I asked something very simple. I said, do we have anything of Abel in our world? And the answer is no. While from Cain and from Seth, we have the destiny of Noah. So if we have nothing in our world from Cain, so he was wiped off. No, he was, that's it, vanished. He was here for, I don't know, a few hours, few days, few months maybe, but he vanished at all, altogether. So when I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that Abel was here for, it's like the wind, you know? He went with the wind. We have nothing from him here in this world, okay? In the known world, okay, in the open world. Cain, we have something here still. Naamah, wife of Noah, was from the destiny of Cain. So if we're trying to compare those two, God punished Abel in a much higher level. You can say that he came back to God, but he did nothing in this world. I will say it in a different way. We are, as souls, okay, going in the atmosphere for thousands of years. We are connected with God, and we're asking ourselves, when will be the time that we can go down to this world to do something, to move something, to move the pen, okay, to move, to help people to move from one place to another place, to do something good in this world. And then God is giving us the opportunity, and he gave also Abel the opportunity. And what happened to Abel? Abel came here, and after a few months, that's it. He didn't left here anything in this world. Cain left something. It's very hard to understand or to realize. Now, usually what we're saying, because God liked his offering, and because he was killed, and our heart is with the one who was killed, and everything else, we're saying that he was very righteous. And now, it's very important to say, I'm not saying that he was that he was a very bad person, but he didn't fulfill his mission. Therefore, God said, with all of the respect, I don't need him here. He is needless here. And this is his name also. And he's moving him aside. Okay, in the Kabbalah, that we have in the Hebrew tradition, we have few very important people that we're saying that they came here and they had the soul of Abel. Okay, one of them is Moses. But those are things, we spoke about this, that but those are things that are not on the surface. You can't really see them. Okay, you need to have a connection with the Kabbalah people to understand what's happening in behind the scenes. Those are things that you can't see them. And you're looking in your eyes and you're learning the Bible, you see that Abel was wiped off. Cain is living here something. So yes, God gave bigger punishment to Abel than Cain. Now, again, I started here with showing that it's not good to kill someone. Okay, I'm not saying, okay, that he was a good one. Cain also wasn't a good person. Cain also did a very big sin. Seth will be the most important one, and he will be in the right way, and he will continue on, and from his destiny, also, the Messiah will come. Not from Cain's destiny. Again, Cain is connecting with the wife side to Noah, but he is still here. And,
wow.
And Cain is not, and Abel is not. Amos, yes, Amos waited so much till 4 o'clock in the morning to ask us a question. Yes, Amos, go on.
Yes, how are you, Rabbi? Listen, I was just wondering if you could expand a little bit on, it says you shall not murder, but I've heard from other rabbis that you can kill in certain circumstances, self-defense, things like that, and also defending another person.
Yes, as I said before, if you go to the Brit Shalom book, okay, let's go back to the Brit Shalom text book. And we spoke about this. Let me show it here. Just a moment. Let me find it. I will find it on the book, and then I will show it to all of you. Okay, just a moment. I'm holding the book in Hebrew.
I just ordered mine, by the way.
You are all invited to order one, and we will do also teaching about this book. Just a moment. Here it is. Number 17. Look. Please, Amos, read number 17. Amos, you can see on my screen.
Yep. Okay. A person is permitted to save himself from someone who is pursuing him to kill him by killing the pursuer if there is no other way to save himself. But if he can save himself by injuring one of the limbs of the pursuer, he is not permitted to kill him, but only injure him.
And read number 18 also.
Mm-hmm. A passerby who sees someone pursuing someone else in order to kill him, but cannot save the person being pursued, merely by injuring the pursuer is allowed to kill the pursuer.
Okay, those are the questions that you ask. It's also have all the, you can see 154 and 155. So you will see, you can see all the notes from where exactly we took that. And this is of course, it's right. You know, no one is I will say it like that. It's very, very important to save the life of others. And if we see someone who is killing others, we need to kill him if we have no choice, if we have no other choice.
Yeah.
Okay? What you asked,
yes, sir.
was supposed to be proven, I proved it. It's more than right. Yes, more questions.
Rabbi, I had a question.
Yes. Ray,
so
just a moment again. You're from the United
Miami,
States?
Florida.
Florida,
Yes.
yes, very nice. Yes.
Thank you. Rabbi Goldberg, first I want to thank you for these classes, and I mean, very insightful and very deep. Thank you very much.
One more to know why you tell me about yesterday.
Also, what I wanted to ask was that today what we did, the pledge that we did in front of the Jewish court, in front of the 3 Jewish rabbis, I have a few friends who are asking about that. Will you guys be doing this again in order that I can inform some of my friends?
Of course, we will do this. We're doing it from time to time, every month or something like that. We're doing it every 2 months. We're doing that. We will do that. Of course, we will do that, and I will inform you. By the way, they can do first of all this first step by doing a self declaration. Okay.
Yes, I saw it on the website. Okay, I'll let them know that, and then I'll keep my eyes open so that next time you guys can do that, I'll let my friends know.
Okay. Netzach, a good question. You want to ask it in front of everybody, Netzach?
I can, sure, but I think you know what I mean. Just my question is that I feel it was sufficiently proven that Hevel failed in his mission, and also that he was not worthy of a miracle when he was in that situation where he would be killed by Cain. But also there must have been some merit in Cain that Hashem saw, because the Torah says that, for example, he was protected from animals, because even animals could kill him now, because he became very guilty of a very serious sin, which under normal circumstances could lead to this consequence, and he was very aware of that. So surely there must have been something very good that merited him this great protection, or this continuation of his descendants, actually, like you explained. And I cannot find what it was, because, for example, what confuses me is that there are midrashim that say that, for example, one of the arguments was that Cain didn't actually believe that there is justice in the world, and that was one of the arguments that he had with Hevel. So I'm just wondering, what was that good, that merit that Hashem saw in Cain, that basically merited him this great protection?
the main thing is that God, I would say like that. First of all, you did there a bit of a salad, okay, between the midrashim. The main thing that God saw in Cain, that he was the person who was like the Messiah for his parents. That he was a very high, I will say, his spirit, his soul came from a very high level, and he was the one that managed to bring his parents to a situation that they're not anymore just receiving life, but they're also giving life. And this was a very important sign. Secondly, God spoke with Cain, and he managed to tell him, okay, that he have the possibility to change his way. And God believed in him that he will manage to change his way. Now we know today the end of the story, and he didn't change his way, but he had the possibility. And God really believed in people that they have the possibility to do repentance and to change their way from bad to good. So God gave him the opportunity. And it's very important to know that this is the way that God is working. He is giving this opportunity, I will say, to do the repentance and to be in the right way.
Okay, thank you very much, Rabbi. It definitely makes some sense to me. I just will need to think a little bit harder about that. But yeah,
Okay.
At least I can see something now, so it makes sense. Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay. If there's, I have another 2-3 minutes, and then I need to go to the next lesson that we have. We have today Susan. Susan. I don't know if I
Yes. Yes.
From where are you? From where are you?
Alabama.
Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a song about Alabama, no?
Yes. I was invited by Travis Cox.
Welcome, welcome. It's okay. It's excellent. We enjoy that you're with us also. Excellent.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Who else here? Lisette, I didn't saw you today, but everything is okay. Good to hear that you're with us. Good to see that you're with us. And Miguel is also with us. Your friend, right? You came from Lisette, Miguel. Now listen good. We have a problem now, unfortunately, really unfortunately. Next week is Rosh Hashanah. The week after that is Yom Kippur. Okay? So the next coming 2 weeks, I won't be able to give a lesson. Then there is Sukkot. I will do my best at least to do, if I won't be able to give a full hour because it's Sukkot, I will do at least 15 minutes, but we will have a session. So next week and the week after that, we need to skip, you know, and on Yom Kippur, I won't be able to give a lesson. Sunday night, I will be at this time in the shul. By the way, we have no permission to be in the shul. We are davening outside because of the coronavirus. And inside it might be hard for us, or that we will manage to, that we will get, the pandemic. In Israel, we must probably be going back to quarantine because we have a very big amount of people that are getting this coronavirus. Those are very important days for the Hebrew nation. And each one and one of you is also, we are all, not only in the Hebrew nation, in all over the world, on those days, we are accepting God to become the God of us. And we are also not only accepting God, we are also wondering and thinking about the bad things that we did and how to be better this coming year. So let me bless all of you for a very, very good year with a lot of blessings and a lot of health and a lot of wealth, that this year will be, the year that the Messiah will come, and we will manage, if he won't come, we will manage to bring the world another step to a better world. And we're all going to see one each other another 3 weeks. So thank you very, very much. And see
Amen.
you all. Have a great
Amen.
day.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rabbi.
Rabbi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Everyone, thanks.
Everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you, Rabbi,
everyone.
until the 4th.
Bye. Be
Bye-bye.
safe, everyone.
Bye.